sorry.
Oh, do not apologize, and there will be more about them after the service. Whoever you are, whomever you love, whatever you believe, wherever you are on your journey, let us walk together this hour.
These words are by David Rankin. I declare a Sabbath day to walk in the wilderness of enlarged perceptions. I declare a release from work to nourish the stamina to pursue ideals. I declare this a special hour to help cherish life's joys and combat life's sorrows. I declare a reign of holiness to deepen our grounding in the sustaining mysteries. I declare a time for simply being and letting go, and for rediscovering great and forgotten truths, for basking in the art of the ages, for learning, relearning how to live again. Come, let us worship together. And why don't we start by singing a song, hymn number 34, Though I May Speak with the Bravest Choir. This may be more for me than for you. Let's do it together.
Please rise and bow in your spirit.
To be made
about the mix-up, folks. There you go.
Love is the spirit of this church, and service its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in freedom, to speak the truth in love, and to help one another.
Good morning, I'm Deb Keller-Wood, the Director of Spiritual Development, and my pronouns are she, her, and hers. I have a wisdom tale this morning. It's titled, The Villagers and the Woven Tapestry. It's a modern parable, known as the Tale of Two Villagers. It's a good reminder of how we sometimes can't fully recognize and welcome what others value and enjoy because we're too focused on what we're personally valuing. Once upon a time, nestled in a valley between rolling hills lived two villagers, Alara and Finn. Alara lived in a small, close-knit community where everyone knew each other. They shared the bounty of their gardens and the warmth of their hearths. Finn, however, was a newcomer who had arrived seeking a place to call home. But he was shy and unsure how to approach the villagers. One day the village decided to weave a great tapestry to represent their community. Each villager contributed a thread of their own, creating a colorful and intricate design. Alara, as one of the most respected weavers, was initially hesitant when Finn approached, holding a simple, uncolored thread. She saw his thread as plain and perhaps not worthy of their vibrant creation. However, the village elder, wise and full of compassion, noticed Alara's hesitation. He said to her, Alara, the strength of our tapestry lies not in the brightness of each thread, but in the way they are woven together. Every thread, no matter how simple it may seem, contributes to the whole, to widen our circle and to strengthen our bond. Inspired by the elder's words, Alara welcomed Finn and his thread. She helped him weave it into a tapestry, placing it beside a brilliant red thread and a shimmering gold thread. As the tapestry grew, the villagers saw how Finn's simple thread, when interwoven with the others, added depth and texture, enhancing the beauty of the whole. Finn, feeling included and valued, shared his knowledge of cultivating new herbs, enriching the village's gardens, and bringing new flavor to their meals. A long time ago, I was told, when someone new enters a group, the group changes. If it doesn't change, it's not successful. Let us continue to change as we welcome people to our tapestry. And the children will come with me as we create our own quilt.
I'm gonna let it shine, this little light of mine. I'm gonna let it shine, this little light of mine. I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
Our reading this morning is a responsive reading, and you will find it in your break hymnal, number 662. Strange and Foolish Walls.
Strange and foolish walls. The years of all of us are short, our lives precarious.
Our days and nights go hurrying on, and there's scarcely time to do the little that we might.
Yet we find time for bitterness, for petty treason and evasion.
What can we do to stretch our hearts enough to lose their littleness?
Here we are, all of us, all upon this planet, bound together in a common destiny.
Living our lives between the briefness of daylight and the dark.
Kindred in this, each lighted by the same precarious, flickering flame of life. How does it happen that we are not kindred in all things else?
How strange and foolish are these walls of separation that divide us.
Thank you. Plus we made it dark.
Can you see?
Yeah, I can see. Can you see me? Yeah. Well, I imagine that some of you were like freaking out this morning because you headed off to your local Unitarian Universalist church and you find this picture of Jesus Christ on the cover of the thing. Not only a picture of Jesus Christ, but, you know, pretty serious picture of Jesus. Not the happy Jesus, you know? So what happened? Did like Reverend Art leave and the church become Catholic while you were gone on vacation? Is the right wing taking over everything? Relax, relax everybody. This is more about art appreciation than icon veneration. Let me show you this picture. Find the right button here. That's the picture. It's a painting by Titian, and it's an example of a genre of Renaissance painting, which is called the HOMO paintings, or HOME paintings. I used to use HOME, H-O-M-M-E, rather than H-O-M-O, because H-O-M-O was, of course, been a slur. And the HOME paintings depict Jesus as a victim of state-inflicted abuse and brutality, police brutality, you could say. He's been arrested, and he's been stripped naked, and he's been beaten, and a wreath of thorns, bloody thorns, have been pushed onto his head, and he's then presented to Pontius Pilate, who is the local Roman authority, who looks at him and says, "Ecce homo," behold the man, or here is the man, or as you could say now, here is the human being. And this is the story that's told in the Gospel of John, and I don't think I have to remind this congregation of good Unitarian Universalists that the Gospel of John was written 75, 80 years after the events that it supposedly describes, and that this is legend, polemical fiction, not history. But Pontius Pilate says, "Ecce homo," behold the man. And centuries later, this becomes a common subject of paintings. And I could show you dozens of ecce homo paintings, a genre that carries on even into the present. And some of them are quite graphic. You could even call them kind of torture porn. Now, here's one from the 19th century, which is quite mild. That's Pontius Pilate here, and Jesus there. And one can imagine Pontius Pilate saying, look, behold this guy, look at him. Is this the skinny white dude that's been causing all this trouble? It's very, wow, doesn't look like the Middle East to me. Here's one from the 20th century, a little bit more graphic. So what happened that this became such a powerful theme in religious painting? And art historians connect the ecce homo paintings with the rise of humanism during the Renaissance. Not the humanism that we know, which is basically atheism or anti-theism, but humanism in the Renaissance was the re-emergence of the idea that the human being, human life, is the measure of all things. Was the purpose of humanity to glorify God? That's what John Calvin said. Or is the purpose of humanity to enjoy life, to grow wise, and to flourish? It was the rise of this human-centered theology rather than simply God-centered theology. And this desire to look again at humanity, to behold humanity, was part and parcel of the flowering of the interests in science and art and the Greek and Roman philosophers that we now look back on and call the Renaissance. Now, Orthodox Christian doctrine had said, since about the 5th century, that Jesus Christ was both fully human and fully divine, inseparably and at all times. It's not a logical statement, but we're not in the realm of logic here. I mean, lots of things in Star Wars are not logical either. Ecce homo was the pendulum swinging back to an appreciation of Jesus as fully human. And what's more human than to be at a moment of great vulnerability, to be oppressed? What is more human than to be hurt? Contemporary Unitarian Universalism, which is many things, is descended from that branch of Christianity that eventually adopted Jesus' humanity as being enough. That's all we needed to know about him. And we could go on and on and on about why that came to be, but that's for another story. The HOMO paintings remind us that Jesus was just a natural human being, not supernatural. And all human beings are natural and not supernatural. They're not divine, they're not angels, they're not devils, they're not demons. We may choose to think of them as sacred, or that humanity is sacred, but that's not the same thing as saying they're supernatural. So what does this have to do with today? Whenever we talk about this stuff, and people who've been to seminary like to talk about this stuff because we get so few chances. You always have to answer the question, so what? So what? Well, I want to refer to a statement by Andre Melville, a 20th century French writer, who wrote about the Nazis in a book called Man's Fate. And then he wrote about the Chinese Revolution in a book called Man's Hope, which has not aged as well. And to be clear, I've read summaries and reviews of these books in academic situations, but I've not read the entire text in either one, so just to be clear. But I think he made an observation that stands up. He said that the project and the rhetorical method of conservative and right-wing movements all the way around the world and throughout history, the rhetorical method of it is to demonize. To demonize someone is to say that they have wholly evil motives, that they're single-minded and wanting to cause harm, and to destroy what is good and beautiful, to destroy what is worthwhile. And I think this definition holds up. Notice it does not say that the right wing are demons themselves. It says that the cultural right believes that others are demonic. And just look around. The American right wing thinks that we are beset by demonic forces on all sides. Not just people with whom they have disagreements, but people who by their very being are up to no good. Immigrants just want what we have and are willing to do anything to get it. And drug dealers are a special kind of people who want to kill people and do harm. And trans people, oh my God, trans people, the level of demonization that they bring to talking about trans people, or even gay people, is just off the charts. They think that they are rebels against God's, and rebels against the God-given order, who want to destroy humanity and civilization as they know it. And to be sure, there are those with whom we agree who think the same way about them, the right. And that's something that we try to guard against. Melville contrasted the rhetoric of demonization with the language of humanization. In short, the answer to any talk of demonization, any demonizing language, is to say, echo homo, behold the human being, behold the person. Now, if you're a preacher like me, even if you're retired, you're always looking for examples that make your point for you in a simple, direct, non-academic, and understandable way. So imagine my delight when in the news I read about the honorable representative, the gentle lady from the great state of South Carolina, Nancy Mace, popped up into my news feed with this perfect example. At first she said that Charlie Kirk was killed by a raging left lunatic for whom we should apply the death penalty. And then after finding out the identity of the shooter was a 22-year-old Trump-supporting conservative, she referred to him as an evil but lost individual for whom we should pray. Now, a lot of people notice the hypocrisy, and that's there. But what it also exemplified is the difference between demonization and humanization. Saying someone is a lunatic who should be killed is demonizing talk. Saying someone is a lost individual is humanizing talk. See the difference? You can't reason or compromise with a lunatic, right? But saying the same person is lost and deserves our prayer is humanization. Basically, Nancy Mace said, "Echo homo." Behold the person. Look at the human being here. Now the contrast between demonization and humanization is, for me, the key to understanding our political, economic, and social conflicts. Look around, listen to what people say, listen to how they talk. What do people think about the people with whom they disagree, or whose behavior they want to change? Is it humanizing talk, or is it demonizing talk? Now here, my friends, is my whole sermon in one slide. We could save a lot of time. I could have just put this up. Now, we gather this morning as a community of faith, as a liberal religious congregation. We say, always, or we try to say, always, echo homo. Behold the human beings. We mourn these strange and foolish walls that divide us. And we try to remember, as so many tell us, that everybody is trying to do the best they can in the circumstances they find themselves. Now, these are religious commitments on our part. So they're more permanent and fundamental than our current political commitments. And I know that we are in a period when, as a religious movement, we are involved in a much larger movement of people of all types that oppose an oppressive and authoritarian movement that's trying to grab power and hold on to power in this country and even around the world. And there's going to be lots of people that we work with that use dehumanizing language and demonizing language about the other side. If you go to Fill the Hill, you'll see signs that are filled with demonizing and dehumanizing language. We don't have to go there. After all, we have learned some of the lessons of our own history. As a liberal religious movement, we have been involved in struggles against racism and sexism and homophobia and ableism and transphobia and others. And we've learned the hard way that any oppressive system that's worth fighting already has its hooks in us as well. Oppressive systems are not just out there, they're always also in here and in here. That's what we've learned. You know, when we started back in the 1960s, oh, heavenly days, we were so against racism because it was always down there, down south, right? We learned, didn't we? And And when the women's movement came through, we discovered that, oh boy, that was in here and in here, and we had to do a lot of work in here to get to where we wanted to go. So we know now, from our own experience, not from anything we read in a book, we know right now from our own experience that all of the motivations that are motivating the people on the other side are also in here and in here. And that's why this is a spiritual struggle as much as a political struggle. We have to try to represent what is right no matter what. We have to try to represent the beloved community. A way of human beings living together without oppression. Not governed by oppressive systems, not governed by biases, implicit bias. We have to learn how to represent that. And we can see it growing in the present moment. And it's also a vision of the future. So in some weird way, we have to be not only a representative of all the great traditions of liberation from the past, we have to be a representative of the future in the present. And we see it growing in the present in every expression of solidarity, especially when people stand up for people who are not like themselves. You see so many people now standing up for immigrants. You see so many people now standing up for trans people, even though they never knew they had ever met a trans person. You see some people, they have to wait until it's somebody in their family, but you see lots of people who are standing up for people they don't know. We have to believe that someday that beloved community will include all, including us. And we have to remember that some of the people who are most fighting against us, the reason why they're fighting is that they don't think they have gotten an invitation to beloved community. They don't think they've been invited. They think that what they've done, what they've said, who they are, what they own, what they've done through in their life, that somehow they're excluded. That we're going to build a beloved community without them. And so they go, if I'm not invited to that party, let's burn it down. Well, oops. How many of us, how many of us have done things that are oppressive to other people? I've written some things, my God, I've written a lot of things, and some of them I'm embarrassed by now. But the people I know who represent that beloved community still say I'm invited. Still say I'm invited. I may have to clean up my act a little, but I'm still invited. So we have to represent what's possible. We have to represent what the great things that people have done in the past, and we have to represent grace and forgiveness. And we have to be explicit about that. You know, have you ever gone by an evangelical church and it says outside, everybody's welcome. And you say to yourself, yeah, but they don't really want me because of what I think, right? They assume that the invitation is insincere. Or we assume the invitation that they make is insincere. Just like there's lots of people who look at the UU Church and says, everybody's welcome here, and they go, yeah, but they don't mean me. That's why you have to be invited specifically. I mean, when we went through, we learned this in the Welcoming Congregation program back in the 80s and 90s. People said in my church, they said, well, we say everybody's welcome, so of course gay people should know that they're welcome in our congregation. And well, no, actually gay people were looking at that sign saying everybody welcome, and they're saying, no, they don't mean me. So you have to invite people explicitly. Yes, you're invited. You're invited. A friend of mine says, I mean, there's always limits, right? You have to, we welcome all who welcome all. That's right. We welcome everyone into the beloved community who wants to live in beloved community. But no matter where you come from and what you've done, you're still invited. So how do we get there? How do we conduct ourselves in this difficult and dangerous time that we are in? Well, we should always remember our watchword, echo home. Behold the human beings. Here is humanity. Amen. And may it be so. We are gentle, angry people. 103 is